All right, guys, so I'm here on Splinterlands TV. The crowd is not on my side. Tails is not on my side. But a lot of people are thinking that you should do no land on or no use of your magic land. And a lot of them are saying that because there's no uh, economic value for it, and there's so much of a better chance for a lot of SPS. And a lot of SPS basically comes from the fact that today the pool is pretty much being evenly distributed to 150,000 plots. And we're all still getting a decent amount a day. But if only 20% of land gets deployed on the small side, like some people think, then by default, land rewards go up 5x to people who are actively engaged with it at a decent level. If you're somebody with a very big collection, they could even go up more than 5x, is what most people are. If you can kind of keep your proportionate value earnings to what you were earning before. And so a lot of people are thinking that they should do that. And I'm going to kind of dispel a little bit of why I think you should do that. It's because all of you think you should do that. Now, I'm not saying that the magic resources should be ignored. I mean, focused on solely. SPS shouldn't be ignored because you have a chance to make a pretty good return. But I just want to show you something. If I go back to my peak monsters and I go to my highest PP cards, if you're not somebody with cards with over 10,000 and a good pocket of them over 7,000 and a good pocket of them over 6,000, if you're not somebody with runeys, if you're not somebody with totems, and you're not somebody with titles, and you're not somebody with very good occupied and legendary lands, the amount of power that they can put into a land can pretty much crush you. And just, we're going to pull my spreadsheet back over here just to show you a quick example of what I mean by this, right? So we're going to pull my sheet over here, and I'm going to show you like kind of what like I could do. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. Windows is a little bit too smart. So we want to unselect these. We want to go to occupied. We want to go here. So we're going to go to this fire dragon desert one. That's rare. We'll go to the rare desert, right? We'll go to the rare desert, and we'll start with and I don't know if I would actually do this, guys, but we're just going to do it for this example. So my lightning dragon has 15,000. This has 2,500. That's a fire card. Okay, that's a death card, so we're going to skip that one. That's a death. Okay, my Malric is 1,100. He's fire, so I can put him on there. Or 11,000, I'm sorry. Zintar's death. Haunted Spirit's death. Vega. Who's my next fires? Okay, and then I've got two 7,500 dragons here. Oh, no, Selena Sky also. Though, I don't know. Maybe I should rent her out and not use her on land. I'll have to double check the return on that. So we'll just put two 7,500s. 75000. Oh no, it's 7,500, right? Yes, 7,500 and 7,500. So my base PP. Oops, I did not do it right. Oh, you can't sum like that. You see, I forgot doing things sideways like this, guys, is going to make my Excel sheet not as happy. And some of you who are really good at Excel, you might laugh at me for saying that because you're like, no, you can make it sum the other way pretty easily. You just do this. But since it's only 5 numbers, I'll do them on the other screen on my calculator really quick. Okay. So I can put on this occupied rare desert 53,500 PP. Then I do have a Rooney, so we get 100% there, right? The best totem I have is Epic. Epic's, I believe, Should we white paper to check for sure? Splinterlands. Land white paper. Or does somebody in the chat want to know for sure Epic Totem is 50? I think it is. Land. I don't know what happened there. I thought I Googled it and I didn't Google it because nothing got Googled. Okay, here. I think we should be able to find totems pretty quick. Well, there's totem fragments. Is totems in totem fragments or no? Additional totem. I don't know. Here's the chance to get a totem. Did I miss it? Did I go right past it? Production boost. Totems are probably in here, right? Let's see. There's land rarity. So we're at rare. Production boost is 10 for being rare. Yes. Okay. Occupied is 100. Rooney is 100. Titles. Totems. Epic is 50. Okay. That was a lot of work. Okay. Do. So we'll get a 50% bonus here. Right? We did all dragons and monsters, so we get another 10%. So actually, we'll just call this 60, right? Then, because it's occupied, it gets another 100 on the Rooney, so that's 200, right? And then titles. Let's see, what title can I throw on this land? I have a high roller. So I can throw it. I can throw my high roller. This is if I went really hard on this one, right? For another 50%. So now I'm at 110 here. So I'm at 310%. So my 53,000 PP 500 times 3.1, I'm going to have a total PP here of 165,850. Okay. So guys, here's why I would say you don't necessarily want to chase the SPS game if you don't have the cards. Because I, who am not a super whale, I'm not a super whale. I showed you my collection. It's worth about $76,000. To a lot of you, that is a whale. But the true whales have accounts that are worth multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars of cards and millions of dollars of cards. They can do this with cards that are much more expensive. And they can push these bonuses a little bit higher here because they have legendary totems. The cards over here are gold foil cards that might have as much as now. Given the cap here, because we passed it, the most they can have is 100K. So I'm going to put 100K there, right? And then I'm going to say that they could easily have the same Rooney and SPS bonus for 200%, but I'm going to say that their totem and title could get them to probably about 160%. So they're looking at getting a 360. This would probably be top points that you can get. So, you are looking, so I'm looking at being dwarfed by one of those guys when he puts 100,000 points on a land like this. Oh, and you know what I forgot in all of this? The land gives me another 10%. So this is actually going to be a little bit higher. So I shortchanged myself a little bit. And so the point is, when you try to dump everything you got into SPS, all of your cards into SPS and grain, and hamper your overall long-term ability within this game if you have multiple plots, you might not get ahead that much. So I'm not planning to do that. I am planning to take my occupied lands and do something like this on them, but to a probably smaller degree. I'm probably aiming to do something like this: 2,000 on here, 2,000 on here, 2,000 on here, because I have a bigger bulk of cards that are right around 2,000. The Rooney, I'm debatable on if I might do one SPS pot like this just because I can. And then we'll take away the Rooney, but we'll still have 100% bonus here because it is an occupied land. Oops, I put 20,000 there. We're gonna start at 10,000, and this we get the 10%. We'll use a lower totem, so maybe call this like another 60% in bonuses, so like 160%. So this is gonna double up plus another 60%. So I'm gonna throw like 26,000 points into here, and still that's not very impressive. But if you can't even manage this, or if this is going to equal like 10 of your plots going after SPS guys, this is why I think you're making a little bit of a mistake, not just playing the game a little bit more even-keeled and balanced. Because the whales are going to whale, they're going to out-whale even me, and if I'm going to out-whale you, then you're probably not in a situation to chase these amazing returns, and you're going to be a little bit disappointed in what you get. Now, I'll say this with a small caveat. If land gets deployed very smally, like very small, if only around 10 to 15% of the land is deployed, you might see a decent uptick in your rewards compared to what you were getting for just holding the land. Because I don't know if the whales are going to whale out quite hard enough to eat it all up. But remember, they're going to get it proportional to the PP that they can get in there. And if they're, getting 36,000 or 300,000 points, 400,000 points in a lot of their occupied lands, 300 to 400,000 points, can you even match that in all of your lands? What percentage would you be at compared to them? I don't know. And Cryptomancer has a point here. Wouldn't they whale out research as well? They probably would, Tails. But does research have a cap in how much you can get proportional to other people, Tails? That's the question. This is why I'm still gonna click here. That's why when I go my land, I'm actually gonna focus. I'm gonna do my 6 occupied, but after that, after I do my 6 occupied, the next and most important thing to me are these. And I understand that a lot of people might disagree with me, but I'm gonna go to these magic ones. Because I have an epic, I have some more rare magics, I have a whole lot of commons. They're actually some of my more diverse lands within my region. So like there's some areas where I can use my good death cards that I was showing you. There's some water card plots. There's actually a decent amount of water card plots. I got lucky and my magic is actually for a place that's almost all deserts. I got a decent amount of death magic, a decent amount of water magic. I even got 1 earth magic. And so I'm going to start earning these. So, and Tails has confirmed that it is proportional to what others are earning when it comes to research. But if a lot of people are using more, then I am of the feeling, I did something wrong and got name into these things right here. I don't know how I did that, but we'll delete those. I kind of feel like you should just play this a little bit more rounded if you want to just make it forward. And my suggestion is for people who have, say, 20 or 30 plots. If you only have 5 plots or less, or I'd say even 10 plots or less, or because I said 30 plots or more, less than 30 plots, and you just want to do 15 SPS and 15 grain to be a self-sufficient thing, or you want to do 30 SPS because you think you'll make enough to cover buying grain from Splinterlands to still come out ahead and in profit, you can play that game. I'm not saying it's going to 100% not work, but if you have a bigger bulk amount of land and you want to play the game forward, I feel like the better play is to just play it kind of down the middle. Use your lands for the things they're best for. Focus on the ones that have bonuses in the beginning. So do all your occupied land. Do all of your magic land and have the magic land go towards resources. Do them with good, strong cards. Do your castles and keeps, but don't go too hard on your castles and keeps because there's diminishing returns past 40,000 PP. In my opinion, that is not really worth it. Maybe some people would say 50,000 PP. So, and also for most of us, if you happen to own a castle and a keep and a lot of a land, you're kind of just earning back some of what you're getting taxed away. And you can only earn, a total of, I think, is it like 7% of the if you were like somehow magically to do it the best, it's like less than, it's like 5% of what they take away from you. So in my mind, you do everything before, because some people are forgetting a little bit, to me, what land is about and what land 0.15 is about. And so I'll go back here to the white book for 1.5, guys. What is it called? We keep calling this thing land 1.5, land 1.5. It's not land 1.5. It's the Secret of Praetoria phase 1.5. Matt has said, and a lot of people have forgotten this, that the Secret of Praetoria and figuring out what the Secret of Praetoria is, or researching towards it, is the main focus of land 1.5. This is also the main focus of land 1.6 once that stuff gets added into the game, and it's the main thing for us to do. And the reason why I think that a lot of us are sleeping on this fact is because when you come back here and you look at Praetoria and everybody's getting super hyped up about this whole land thing of farming SPS, that's not what land was supposed to be about. Yes, there are SPS rewards in land. Yes, there are some lands that are meant to help you farm a nice little piece of the SPS pool, but the end goal of land, SPS is almost an afterthought to me, because we're going to be going into an ecosystem with over 50 resources. He has said that you're not going to be able to get all of these resources out of the land. You're going to have to mix some of them together. It is very easy to see when they say that things are going to be gated. It's probably going to be things like resource creation. Those of you who have the research points can go ahead and mix 2 or 3 resources together to make the third resource. Those of you who decided to completely ignore researching will have to go and research before you can enter that marketplace. Meaning that when those resources get introduced to the game, there could be, for some of them, only a few people who can even make them, in my opinion. This is speculation. It's a lot of speculation, but it's very typical for these type of games. I'm going to take you back to when I was a younger gamer. I was playing a game called Dark Age of Camelot. It was one of the first kind of MMO type games I played, and I became a tailor in that game. And I spent the time to become an absolutely masterwork tailor. And because I was a masterwork tailor, one of the guys with the most skill on the entire server, people had to come to me. Why did I go to tailor when I saw everybody else going to armor makers and weapon makers? It's because to make the best armors in the game for the tanks, you had to use a set of leather armor. So all the other crafters were my customers, and all the leather wearers were my customers. I became one of the more wealthy people throughout that game. And at certain times during certain events, when I logged in, I didn't. I literally what was getting paid to stand in one place by people because they were begging me to just craft things for them. That is what this is gonna be, in my opinion, to the people that are able to actually make some of the more unique and rare things that are needed to craft cards. And that is what this is all building to. So, in my mind, if you completely ignore research, you think that there's a great earning opportunity in the game right now because you are the only, you might be one of the few people that is trying to mine SPS out of the land. I think the big opportunities for this game in major earnings of land is going to come when we're getting into that next phase of land 2.0. And I know it's almost heresy to even talk about that. That is so far off into the future. It is so removed from our reality. But that white paper is going to drop soon. And when it does, if you have 0 research tokens because you decided to pour everything into SPS, then I hope you have a whole lot of SPS and that worked for you. Because if the returns weren't outsized, you're going to probably start to go, oh boy, what happened? Look at all this stuff that I'm not going to be able to do because I didn't do any research. I didn't play the game kind of down the middle. I didn't hedge my bet any. And I went for the outsized early returns. And the true fact is, unless you are a true whale, I don't think you're going to make those outsized returns. I don't think you're going to get 10x or 15x rewards than you get today. I don't even think you're going to get 5x, or I think you're going to end up with something like maybe a 2x, because the whales are going to whale up hard on those SPS pools, SPS areas. They're going to throw up those numbers I showed you before, 300,000 points in a land. And when you put 10 lands together for maybe 100,000 or 200,000, if your cards are a little bit better PP across all your lands, they're going to defeat you on one land, and then they're going to do that on 10 lands, and they're going to absolutely crush your score. Now, they were going to do that to us all anyways, but if you try to compete with them, instead of playing the game a little bit more balanced, if you wanted to be a long-term player in land, you might end up a little bit disappointed, because you're just going to lose at that game, in my opinion, and put yourself behind the normal game that you could have been taking part in and maybe getting ahead in. Given if you're not a whale, you're not a whale. You're not, if you don't own hundreds of lands, this doesn't really apply. If you're a smaller holder, I think just trying to get even double your SPS rewards for a couple weeks or months until it normalizes, because a lot more people start to deploy their land, that's not the worst idea in the world. I'm just not sure that it's this amazing earning potential for all of us, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong on that.